The topic of today's video is health insurance in Thailand. I've been getting asked a ton of questions about health insurance here. I've been dating a girl for the last year or so that is a health insurance agent here in Thailand. So she's been in a few of my videos and I've been getting a lot of questions. Some of my friends have asked questions. In fact, I got a friend moving here this week that's asked me a million questions. So I told everybody, hold off. I'll make a video and try to answer everything. So I'm hoping that this is going to be like the most comprehensive video on YouTube about health insurance in Thailand. Now, it's not going to be about every health insurance company because I don't know a lot about every health insurance company. I'm going to speak about my personal experiences using my international health insurance that I have from America. And my girlfriend, she works for AIA Insurance. And a lot of expats use that insurance company, so I will speak to that. I've done a bunch of research on her company and looked at her brochures and listened to her and heard so many of the questions that you guys have had about health insurance here. So I've just compiled like a list of these questions, and I actually did a research on a bunch of different topics and categories, and hopefully I can give you all the information that you're possibly going to need about health insurance here in Thailand. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian. My friends call me Greeny. I've been living here in Thailand over 5 years. I've had a variety of different visas at the present moment. I have the LTR, which is the long-term resident visa. It's a 10-year visa that I'm real happy with. We can talk about that again on another day. I've made videos in the past, but like I said, this video, we're talking health insurance. So the topics I'm going to cover in this video are, number one, just a brief introduction and a little bit about the history of AIA Insurance, which is the company that she works for. There's some misnomers out there, and I just want to clear a couple things up on that. I'm going to answer, number two, I'm going to answer a bunch of questions that have been posed about health insurance here in Thailand. Number three, I'm going to go over the different types of policies and coverage, inpatient, outpatient, things like that. We'll talk about that. Number four, I'm going to go over the application process, what that entails. And number five, I'm going to go over pricing. Let you know different ages, different costs, how much it is. Before we get started, I just want to give a little disclaimer that I'm no expert. I'm not licensed here. I don't know, that much about life insurance, only what I can read for myself and what I've asked my girlfriend about, which you know how things go here. Sometimes things get lost in translation a little bit, but I think I got 99% of the stuff down, and I think it's pretty valuable information if you're considering getting insurance here in Thailand. So to start with, I just want to tell you a little bit about the company she works for because there's been some confusion. The name of the company is AIA, American International Assurance, which leads some people to believe that it's an American company. It is not. It is not an American company. It was founded in 1919 in Shanghai, China. Thailand, which AIA Thailand is a subsidiary. It's its own company. Okay, so it's a Thailand company licensed in Thailand, started in 1938. In 1939, the main AIA, the headquarters, left Shanghai because of politics, things that were going on in China at the time, communism and whatnot, and moved to New York. So the main headquarters was in New York for a while. At one time, AIA or AIG, which is a huge American insurance company, owned a lot of holdings of AIA, but they sold theirs. And now AIA is back headquartered in Hong Kong. It's a huge company here in Southeast Asia and Asia in general. It's in 18 different countries, and it's primarily an Asian insurance company. And like I said, Thailand is its own company. It's regulated by Thai laws. You may have to fill out documents, and a lot of times they're going to be in Thai. Now you can, like my girlfriend, she will convert everything and give you copies in English. But the actual legal copies that you have to sign here in Thailand are in Thai, not in English. We had some confusion with somebody that wanted to sign up, and he thought, it's an American company. I want to send in. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not an American company. This is a Thai company. And like I said, the headquarters are in Hong Kong. If you need more information about insurance in Thailand, I will put Warunee's information in the description. Her email, website. Most of this information is on the website. The brochures, there's a copy of those on the website if you want to read through this yourself. And, you know, give her a bump. She'll take care of you. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of the way, explain that, because there has been confusion on that. First thing we're going to discuss is question and answer. I got a ton of questions, so I'll just get right to that and try to answer them the best that I can. And some of the answers will kind of come later when I go through the different categories. So first question is, and I made notes here. Like, I got lots of notes, and this is not AI. This is all my chicken scratch. So I you know, made a bunch of notes in here, and I just typed them out so I can try to be more organized. And I'm not an organized guy, but I'm going to do the best that I can. This video is brought to you by Zingifi. I've been taking Zingifi for, 9 months now, over 9 months. And I got to tell you, I take 2 tablets every day, and it's done wonders for me. My blood pressure, after about 4 months of taking it, dropped. I started taking a half a blood pressure pill. I was taking 100 milligrams, went down to 50. And a few months ago, I completely got off blood pressure medication, and my blood pressure's been perfect. I check it all the time. I got a blood pressure cuff here. Also, another thing that happened that surprised me was my cholesterol dropped. I went from 247 to 204 like in a 9-month period. I had blood tests, and now I'm going for a full physical here in a few weeks, and I'm hoping to see that cholesterol get under that 200 mark. That's what they say, you know, that's kind of borderline. Now, I really don't even know what cholesterol does, because I've had a calcium test and that was 0. So I don't know what cholesterol even means, but my numbers are down. My sexual appetite, my sexual health has been better than it's been in years. You know, I don't want to get too much into that, but this product really seems to offer some stamina, if that makes any sense. I have a lot of energy. I mean, I've been walking like crazy since I moved to Bangkok. I just checked my steps, and I'm averaging over 10,000 steps a day since last April, since I moved here. And I mean, I just have all kinds of energy. So there's tons of positives to this Zingifi. What is Zingifi? It's a very potent Korean red ginseng. And let me tell you, I was just in Vietnam, and I forgot my medication. And all my medication, I had to buy everything. So I bought some ginseng when I was there, and it has like 1/6 of the actual ginseng like in each one. That one had all kinds of other things. It had rice flour, and the one cool thing though, I did notice on the packaging, it said great for cholesterol, which that was a complete surprise to me, but let me tell you, it does. So anyways, I will leave my discount code in the description. If you use my code Greeny, you'll get 20% off. And I swear by this stuff. I love it. I'm going to keep taking it. So first question is, do I need health insurance to get a visa in Thailand, and for which visas? So this has nothing to do with, you know, AIA. This is just a general Thailand question. If you get the OA visa, which is a retirement visa that you obtain in a different country, you know, get it stamped, get everything done in like America, you will need health insurance. If you get the O visa, say you come here and you use an agent or whatever, you're here on a you know, tourist visa, and you get the O visa for retirement here, they don't require insurance. The LTR visa that I'm on requires insurance. I'm not sure. I assume if you have a work permit, you probably have to have insurance here. I'm not positive on that. And there are minimum regulations for these visas. I think my visa type, I have to have 50,000 in coverage in US dollars. So just got to get the right amount. That's all. These policies come in different amounts. Next question is, what is the difference between Thai local health insurance and international insurance? What makes more sense if I split time between two countries? So this is a question that gets asked all the time. I have international insurance. I have Blue Cross. Okay, they have a thing called Blue Cross Global Core, which my insurance belongs to, and so I'm covered here. However, when I obtained my visa, the LTR visa, I had to submit a lot of documents to the BOI, Board of Investment of Thailand, who handled everything for me. And I had to provide documents and more documents and more documents to kind of prove to them that this was valid insurance. Obviously, if you had Thai insurance, it would be much easier. They would just look at it and be like, oh, boom, your insurance policy, you're all set. But I mean, I had to get a couple different letters and different things, just really, really proving that I had insurance here. Now, if you're going to live here full time, there's a few different things you can do. You can buy insurance in Thailand. I know her company has an option called Infinite Care, which is, much higher amounts of insurance, and it covers you all over the world, but it also costs a lot more money. And if you were to get it for the whole world plus the United States, it costs about double what it would cost the whole world without the United States. So there's all kinds of different prices, and your cheapest option is going to be just to get insurance in Thailand. You can always get a travel insurance policy if you're leaving Thailand for a short time. But, if you have the money, the Infinite Care is definitely an option. It does have some advantages. I think the Infinite Care covers some dental and also outpatient, which the primary policy that I'm going to talk about later does not cover outpatient, only for certain things, which we'll get into shortly. Next question, will major private hospitals in Thailand accept my insurance with cashless direct billing, or will I have to pay first and make a claim later? Well, if you have the Thai insurance, you're going to be registered at the hospital. They're going to be able to just check your name in the database and see that you have insurance. Like if it's AIA, because it's Thailand's biggest insurance company, and they have a record of all this. They'll know that you have it. And so now there's a couple different ways to do things. If say you're going to have some big surgery that can be planned out ahead of time, they're going to want you to submit papers to them and get approval and set everything up ahead of time. If you have to have some major surgery and you just go in and do it, you're probably going to have to pay ahead of time and get reimbursed or put down some sort of deposit. I personally had a surgery here. I had something done a while back, and I used my Blue Cross insurance, and I got approval. It took a few weeks to get everything set up, but I was approved, and they were supposed to just pay. Well, so I ended up just paying what little bit went over what my insurance said that they would cover. But I got to tell you, the whole thing was a big cluster. And for me personally, because it took so long for the Thai hospital to send all the paperwork in, like over 6 months, to my insurance company, which messed up my copay and everything for the year. It just was a complete mess. It's easier for me to just pay up front, submit on this app that I have, and get reimbursed. That's what's easiest for me. However, like I said, if you have the Thailand insurance, you don't have to worry about that. You just get everything set up ahead of time, and there's no problem. Now, if you have some emergency or something like that you just have to immediately go to the hospital, then yeah, they're going to look up your name in the system, and you're going to be covered. You'll also probably get a hold of your agent. They're going to call the hospital. They're going to make sure that everything runs smoothly. D, are pre-existing conditions ever covered in Thailand, and what kind of waiting periods should I expect? Okay, this is a huge one here. So I'm going to spend a few minutes on this one. It depends what your pre-existing conditions are. If you say only had high blood pressure, okay, they may send you to get an exam. And if they say, okay, you have high blood pressure, we've seen this happen before, where they will charge you more, like 50% more for the policy, but you're covered for everything. There could be other examples where you have some issue where they're not going to cover that particular issue, and they're still probably going to raise your rate because you're more of a risk. If you want the basic, posted rate, you got to come in there and be healthy. If you have any type of pre-existing conditions, there's going to be some, some give or take. You may have to have an exam. Now, if you come in and you're like, nope, I'm good, never been to the doctor here, I'm not on any medication, your height, your weight, everything is in proportion. A lot of people have not had to take exams, medical exams, and they get the insurance, and it's no problem. Now, if it were to come back later that you had some underlying issue that you lied about, those are the people whose insurance, they complain that the insurance didn't cover them, they deny their claim. Well, sometimes things do come up that people had lied about, you know, and people like to save face. They don't put that out on the message boards that they've had an issue like that. Another issue with pre-existing conditions is in Thailand, they really frown on certain pre-existing conditions. So if you have any type of heart issue, you have a stent, you've had cancer in the past, any type of cancer, besides like a carcinoma maybe or something like that. But a lot of things, they will not cover you here. You will not get insurance in Thailand. So I'm just being honest and putting that out there. A lot of people get denied. Okay, another question. Are there age limits or guaranteed renewal rules that I need to know about? So as far as the insurance that AIA, you can get the insurance up to 75 years old. Now, if you wait that long and you have underlying issues, it's going to be a problem. You're probably not going to get it, or it's going to be, you know, very expensive. If, say, you had it and you're like 50, 55 and everything's good, and bam, you're in. You're getting the posted rates. It's not going to go up or down. I mean, it goes up every 5 years. I'll tell you about that later. You know, you're in and you can stay on it till you're 98 years old, through your 98th birthday. Once you turn 99 years old, no more insurance here. You're done if you live that long, God willing. What is the difference between OPD and IPD in Thailand? What type of OPD limit is reasonable? So this is for outpatient, inpatient, and when I get to the coverage, I'm going to get to that. I'll discuss that a little bit. Will Thai authorities accept a foreign policy for visa purposes, or do I need a local policy? What documentation is needed? So I kind of answered that previously. You may need a letter that your insurance company has to, you know, basically a person will have to fill out and say that the insurance covers you there. Thailand has a form that they need to fill out. That's kind of an important one. And I mean, I just had a bunch of stuff. I printed out my stuff from Blue Cross Global, and then I had to have my previous employer that handles my insurance. I had to have them write out this letter that was, you can print it out from, I think it's online. I don't know. I have copies of it. If I plan to use a top-tier private hospital like Bumrungrad or MedPark in Bangkok, are there room limits and annual caps? So this I will get to. I will get to that when it comes to the different you know, coverage amounts you can get. Are motorcycle accidents covered if I don't have a Thai driver's license or I'm not wearing a helmet? This is a great question, and I asked my girlfriend, and she's 96% sure that you are covered. She told me that you are. I would still, you know, when you're actually applying, I would make sure you see something about that in writing. I guess if there's nothing about it in the contrary, then you're covered, because this next question, there is something in the contrary that I read. So the next question is, are alcohol-related injuries and or adventure park sports or reckless behavior injuries covered? So this one is interesting because she told me, and I looked it up because I like to double check things, and she was 100% correct that alcohol, if it's to a certain point, you are not covered. So say you fall down and get hurt and you were drunk, you're not going to be covered, and it's like 1.5 milliliters, something like that. It's basically like, you know, the old drunk driving laws, or I mean, I guess current drunk driving law, like a 0.12 to a 0.15, somewhere in there, you know, basically to be safe. Anything over a 0.10, you're probably not going to be covered. They're going to say you're not covered. If you just had a beer and something happened, or 2 beers, you're probably going to be fine. So it depends on the alcohol content in your system. As far as, you know, rock climbing or going hiking and falling down, you know, reckless behavior, that's covered. That should be covered. Next question, can I get maternity, newborn coverage in Thailand as an expat, and is there a waiting period? I will get to this. If I already have US, EU insurance, will Thai hospitals bill it directly, or do I need a Thai focused policy? I sort of answered this one before, but you know, basically, if you're going to do anything here, so you get hurt, you're going to either have to give a deposit probably to leave the hospital. This is what I've heard. This is what I've read on message boards and everything. You're going to, or you're going to have to wait till they contact your insurance company and there's approval. I mean, I've heard people had to sit in the hospital for 3 days to get approval from their insurance company. Me personally, I would just pay everything and then get reimbursed from my company later. So that's the difference. If you had AIA, you go in there, you don't got to worry. They're going to, you're in the system, bam, you're good to go. And that's covered for pretty much every private hospital in Thailand and some public hospitals. Some public hospitals don't really have insurance departments. You know, it's all just billing and public, so they don't deal with insurance. If it's one of those type, you're not going to be able to be covered there. But some of them do have insurance department, and you could use your insurance there. Next question is about deductibles. This AIA, there's no deductible. So I know a guy that has insurance from another company, and he just did a real high deductible, like $5,000 US, and so his policies left. It's called Health Happy. That's the policy that most expats get here, and you just pay the price, and you're covered up to the certain amount. You know, if you pick 1 million, 5 million, however many baht you pick, you're covered for that amount. Next question is a good one. How do I switch insurer? So say if you're insured by AXA and you wanted to switch to AIA, how do you go about doing it without having a lapse in coverage? I'm going to get to the different waiting periods later, but basically you'd want to get your new policy a month before your old policy expires to make sure there's no lapse. Next question, which is another good one that I've heard many times. Once I buy the policy, can I go up or down later the following year when I renew my policy? Now it's a little tricky. So say you just wanted to go just a little bit. You feel like, oh, I'm 45 and I only want to go with a 1 million baht policy. And then say 5 years later, okay, I feel like I'm getting older. I want to raise it to 5 million. No, you would have to do the whole process again, application, and they're probably going to give you a physical this time because they're going to feel that, well, this is kind of odd. This guy needs more insurance. Is there something going on? Does he, is he sick and he knows that, he's got an issue and he wants to get higher insurance? So they're going to be a little suspect in that case. Now, if you had the 5 million and later on you wanted to go down, that's fine. There's no problem with that. Do I need a medical exam? Okay, like I said, that's up to underwriting. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that as I go through the rest of this. Do I get a discount if I make no claims? No, not with AIA. This company, there's no discount later for not making claims. But the good thing is that if you do make claims, your rates don't go up like they may for some other companies. I'll get into more of that later. All right, part 3. We're going to get into some of the coverage details. 1 million in coverage, 5 million in coverage, 15 million in coverage, or 25 million in coverage. Now, first let me tell you about the 25 million in coverage, which is a lot for Thailand. Sort of overkill. The only positive, the biggest positive about the 25 million is that it covers you for 30, I think it's either 25 or 30, but I think 30 outpatient incidents per year. So if you go to the doctor and you got a cold or you got a cough or you got the flu or this or that, you will be covered for that, which you're not for the other policies. But you are covered for some outpatient things, which I'm going to get to. These coverage amounts are doubled if you have certain illnesses. I'm just going to read it off my list here. So they pay double for 3 years after the diagnosis for acute heart attack, major stroke, coronary artery bypass, invasive cancer, major organ or bone marrow transplant, and surgery to the aorta. So if one of those occurrences happens, your coverage is double. So if you had the 15 million, which I would say when I give you the price, I'm going to give you for the 5 and the 15. Those are the most common policies that expats get. And so if you had the 15, you're covered for 30 million baht if you have one of these occurrences for 3 years, for the next 3 years, 30 million each year. One of the other questions that I had that I said I'd get back to is there a specific coverage amount that you should get for different hospitals? Like if you know you're going to want to go to one of these top tier hospitals, they charge a higher amount for the room each night. I mean, you go to a certain hospital, you may be paying 3,500 baht a night for a room. If you go to, I'll give you Bangkok Hospital as an example, that's 6,000 baht a night for the room. Now, when you look at the website, it may say 11,000, but that's including food and nursing fees. But the actual room fee is 6,000 baht, which is covered by the 15 million policy. So let me get into this for you. The 5 million baht 5 million baht in coverage will pay 3,000 baht a day. 15 million covers 6,000 baht, which is good enough for like Bangkok Hospital and most of the hospitals. Now there may be a few hospitals I had heard that are like 8, 9, 10,000 baht a night, and the 25 million baht coverage will cover 9,000 baht a night, which, you know, I think that'll pretty much cover everything, but I'm not positive. If you're, you know, if you're rolling large like that, you may have to pay a little extra if you want the, you know, double suite or something awesome. Some of these rooms are like hotel rooms. They really are. They're really nice. Also, AIA, you know, they deal with these hospitals a lot, and it could be possible in certain instances that if you're like, say, at Bangkok Hospital, that maybe they can get you the coverage for, you know, if you're a little under your coverage, that they can, you know, work out something where you don't have to pay extra. That's possible. I've heard that happening before for some agents. The AIA policy does not have like limits per visit. It's only your yearly limit. So if you're insured for 5 million baht a year, you know, you could use it all for one instance or throughout the year if it came to that. All right, so let's get into inpatient, outpatient. All the inpatient stuff is covered. This is an inpatient policy. These policies are for inpatient coverage. Outpatient, you're covered for accidents. So say if you fall down, you fall off your bike, you fall off the back of a motorbike taxi, you get hit by a motorbike, you know, you get stung, you know, like bites, get bit by a snake, you get some allergic reaction, some rash from something. Those types of incidents are covered so long as you go to the doctor or hospital within 24 hours. This has to be done within 24 hours of the occurrence. Also, if you go to the doctor for something and it turns out to be something much bigger, say you went and, oh, I got this stomach pain. It turns out you had appendicitis and you had to be admitted to the hospital. If you get admitted to the hospital, you will get reimbursed for that initial doctor's visit for whatever that was. So say if you just went to the doctor, oh, I got a stomach ache, they give you some you know, charcoal, whatever, and you're better. No, you have to pay for that out of pocket. But say it turns into something big and you're admitted to the hospital, then it's covered. So another thing I was talking about, the 25 million baht policy covers you for the, you know, all your inpatient, everything. But it's probably much cheaper to get the 5 or the 15 and then just pay when you go to the doctor for a cough, the flu, anything like that. Because I've been to the doctor tons of times here. I've never made a claim. You know, it's so cheap, 200, 300, 500 baht, maybe 1,000 baht at the most. So it's just, you know, there's really no need to have outpatient coverage here. Because if it's anything major and you end up getting admitted for it, it's going to be covered anyways. Like I said about the infinite care before, that's going to cover you all over the world. You can be covered in America, like I said. It costs extra. I think there is some dental with that. That covers you for inpatient, outpatient. It's pretty much like the Cadillac of policies with this company. Other things that are covered are like an ambulance fee, chemotherapy, radiation, dialysis. Those are all covered if, you know, you have a condition where you're going to end up needing that. Prescription drugs are not covered. There are also other riders that you can purchase. So if you are a woman and you're going to have a baby, this is not covered by the insurance, okay? Your baby is not covered. Now, there is a rider, a maternity rider, that you would have to have a year before you have the baby. So they want to make sure you weren't pregnant when you get this policy. And there's also another rider, a PA, it's called PA. And some of these riders, what they do is the maternity rider, if you were to you know, have complications, it would cover that. When you have the baby, if there's any complications with the baby, it covers that. But like I said, the actual childbirth, that's on you. The PA policy will cover you to, like, say you're in Vietnam and something happens, to get repatriated here. It also covers you for some outpatient things. So a lot of times if you have like a so you get injured and you have stitches, well, here in Thailand there's a lot of bacteria. And a lot of times they want you to keep coming back to get things rewrapped and everything like that. Well, if you purchase the PA policy, all those post-care appointments, that will be covered with that. There's also insurance for like injuries, like they give you money if you got hurt in an accident. It's just some of the things are really weird. Like if it's on a Thai holiday and you get hurt in a car accident, motorbike accident, they pay you like 6 times more. So you'd have to look at that. And the maternity and this PA, these little riders are only like between 5 and 8,000 extra body year. And there's all kinds of little extra things that they cover you for if you're looking for extra coverage. If you were to have a baby here, you're a couple here, you have insurance. I know that Warunee has sold insurance to some couples. She sold the maternity thing. You know, the people are talking about having a baby later. When you get the insurance, once your baby's born, that's very expensive, you know. So to have a baby and get insurance on a baby, it's very expensive. And as they get a little bit older, it gets a little less and less. But I think around, I don't know, 10, 11 years old, somewhere around there, it really drops down. And then when the kid's like 16, 17, I don't know, there's certain ages that it's super low. Then as you get older, it starts going up again. So it's like this, you know, it's like a curve. So young children, babies are very expensive to insure because they're, you know, things can happen. Okay, so when do the policies take effect? If you were to sign up and you're accepted, you get the policy, you're immediately covered for accidents. You know, like I said, the snake bites, the accidents, the rashes, that type of stuff. It's 30 days before, like, oh, I got cancer, oh, I got appendicitis, any type of medical issue, 30 days for the hospitalization. There's a few other things that you would have to wait 120 days to be covered. A hernia, endometriosis, let me see, I have a few more written down here, tonsillectomy, adenoids. There's a few things that are excluded. If they found that you had a congenital abnormality or congenital organ system defects or genital disorders or growth development abnormalities, these may not be covered. Cosmetic surgery, not covered. Pregnancy, miscarriages, abortions, child delivery, OBGYN, I'll just say that, I can't even pronounce that. Fertility issues, sterilization, contraceptive, those things are not covered. Like I said, there's some coverage with the maternity rider. Okay, number 4, let's get into the enrollment process. So AIA is a little different. You don't go into the office. They have 60,000 agents throughout the country. And when you want to sign up for AIA, the agent that you're dealing with is going to come and see you. So you may meet at a coffee shop. They may come to your house, whatever's most convenient for you and the agent. When they come to you, you're going to need to complete an application. So everything is, all the information goes into a secure portal through the company. The agents all have a little tablet that they bring and they do the application, asks you a bunch of questions, this and that. Now, one of the questions was, do you have to have a physical exam? So the agent, they're going to look at you, okay? If you say, and this has happened, I've heard stories, oh, I'm so healthy, I'm completely healthy, there's nothing wrong with me, and you know, you're 200 pounds overweight, you have sores on your legs, you look like you have diabetes or something, you know, you look sickly, well, they're a representative of the company. You know, you're probably going to have a medical exam to be cleared. If you're completely healthy, you're fit, you look like you're in shape, you know, and everything's submitted that way, underwriting's probably not going to flag you. They look at your BMI. You know, that's a big thing in Thailand. If you're, you know, overweight, they're probably going to want you to have an exam, and it also may increase your premiums. You may have to pay more. So at the application process, you're going to need your passport, your visa. If you have a work permit, you'll need to provide your work permit. You'll need to show a bank book. They want to see that everything in Thailand now, it's like, you know, not that they don't trust us, but there's different groups of people that have caused a lot of issues here where things have to be checked and double checked. You have to show your bank book. If you're an American, you're going to need to complete a IRS W-9 form, which is the same form that you fill out when you go to the bank to open a bank account here. It's, you know, any type of financial instrument, and since you're mostly buying health insurance, it's a life insurance company. I'm going to get to that in a minute, explain that to you. But, you know, there is a financial product involved here, and it's required that you fill that out. When you complete the application, the first year's payment is due at that time. The complete year, there's no monthly, there's no quarterly, there's no yearly. That can all be done in subsequent years. once you're on the insurance, you'll have an app on your phone, and the following years you can decide and tell them how you want to pay. But initially when you sign up, you're paying for your first year in advance. There's reasons why they do that. You know, people have went and got insurance and got their visa, cancel it later, things like that. And the government doesn't like that, so they're required to make you pay for the first year in advance. How do you pay? You can't pay cash. You can do a QR code through your bank. You know, like if I got my Bangkok Bank, I could scan it, or you can use a credit card. But there's certain issues that come up, okay? If you have a credit card, some credit cards will make you get an SMS. And, you know, we've ran into people that don't have a Thai phone number or don't have their phone number from, say, wherever they're from. Like me, I keep both phone numbers on my phone, and I can get text messages from America. So if I needed that, I would get my SMS from my phone in America through my credit card and be able to do it. So make sure that, you know, if you have to do a SMS, if it's not a Thailand credit card, that you can retrieve that number. Also, another thing is when you're using a QR code, make sure that you don't have a limit at your bank. Many banks have like a 50,000 baht limit that you can't spend more than that. Some banks you can go right on the app right at that time and raise it to like 2 million, 1 million, whatever like that. But you should do that ahead of time. Make sure that you have no spending limit on your app when you're going to get health insurance, because it's probably going to be between 50 and 100,000 baht. So if your limit's like 20 or 50, it's gonna cause delays. It's going to be an inconvenience for you. Okay, so I wanted to explain about AIA. AIA, when it was formed, 1919, life insurance company. At some point in time, AIA Thailand also started servicing health insurance, offering health insurance. And because that's considered a rider, everything is a rider. They're registered in Thailand as a life insurance policy. So there's a good and there's a bad about that, mostly good. The bad is that you are required to buy life insurance. So the totals I'm going to give you on the prices, that includes a very minimal amount of life insurance. It could be the smallest amount. You don't have to get a huge policy. You can get like 100, 150, 200,000 baht in life insurance. But it's required. That's, you know, that's what you're really buying. And then the health insurance and the PAs or the maternity, whatever else you get, those are all riders. Now the good thing about that is you have a 20-year policy or whatever. You have life insurance through them. So everything is locked in. Say you make claims every year. They can't raise your rates. Your rates are the posted rates. They stay like that. With other companies I've heard, you make one claim and boom, your rates skyrocket. And they've had, my girlfriend said that they've had people from other companies that have said, oh my God, my rates went up, I want to get AIA. Well, now you have pre-existing conditions and it's too late to get the insurance with this company, or it's going to be, you know, more money. But if you would have already had AIA and you needed to make claims or you got sick, you're still in the regular rates. You know what I mean? Whatever that posted rate is, that's what you have, even if you made a bunch of claims. The only time that there's ever a copay is if somebody were to abuse the system, and they got charts on this that if you made a bunch of certain claims in a year, then you may, you know, if you've used more than what you've paid for your premium and you've made too many of certain types of claims, you know, you may have to do a copay, you know, in a certain year or whatever. That's something that can be looked into, but I've never heard of that happening. When you do get this little life insurance policy, or if you decide to get 1 million baht in life insurance, it cannot be like for your girlfriend here. You have to say you're married, but really you're supposed to be married. You know, I've heard some people say, oh, we're married. You know, they're not going to say, oh, I need to see your marriage certificate. But when it comes to collecting, you know, will you be able to collect? I don't know. So a relative, you know, kid, brother, sister, husband, wife, that type of thing, parent, that's who you have to have as your beneficiary legally. All right, last part. Let's get into the rates. So I'm just going to go through some of these. Like I said, you can get 1 million. I'm going to do 5 million and 15 million. You could get to 25 million, and you could get infinite care. But the most common policies are the 5 and 15. So I'm going to go through that, and I'm going to go through the ages of 41 to 71. So at 41 years old, for a 5 million baht policy, 29,520. 15 million baht, 41,720. This is Thai baht. You can do your own conversion. 46. So it goes up every 5 years. In between, I think it goes up like a couple hundred baht. And, you know, 41, 42, 43, couple hundred baht. But there's like a significant jump every 5 years. So at 46, 33,344, 15 million, 46,844. 51 years old, 5 million back coverage, 38,913 for 15 million, 54,013. 56, 47,005 for 5, 15 million, 68,605. 61 years old, 56, 442 for 5, for 15, 78,142. 66 years old, 79,299 for 15, 112, 199. 71 years old, 119,288 for the 5 million, 15 million, 167,388 Thai baht. And every 5 years, like I said, at the 1s and at the 6s, it goes up. 72, 71, whatever. That's not even the posted. You know, they'll tell you how much it is. But every 5 years it'll go up. If you need more information, I'm putting Warunee's contact information. All this stuff is on her website pretty much. And, you know, she can give you a specific quote for your needs. She can sign you up, do whatever you need. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully it's helpful. If you know anybody that this might be useful for, make sure you share this video with them. And appreciate it if you follow my channel, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up on this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Greeny out.